Welcome back, everybody. It is the Wizard here, and we are currently in the greatest era of the Pokemon TCG. As you can see, I have a new camera and a desk set up finally so that I can show you guys the process of how I cut and sleeve my homemade cards, the custom ones that I've been showing you guys on Magic Set Editor. So I've got all my stuff laid out here. Firstly, here's the cards. I was able to get them printed, and I'm actually using a program that I found, not Google Docs, and I'm also not using Google Slides either. This does seem to work pretty well, and I will showcase that in the next video that I do. So just know that I'm not using Google Docs anymore. I found a better way. So that's that. Also have the cardstock that I go with. This isn't a premium pick or anything. This is just the stuff that was available at Walmart when I went. And also it's produced in Neenah, Wisconsin, which is probably too small for you to read, but Neenah, Wisconsin isn't too far from where I grew up and where I now currently live in Wisconsin. So feel a little bit of hometown pride getting that every time I go to the store. Normally I would use a cutter, and these are new blades for that cutter. However, the basement where my desk is set up is kind of in disarray right now. My wife and kids are currently setting this room up as a little office area and almost like a schoolroom, so that way they can do preschool here at home. So I can't find where that is, but typically I would use that to make the process a little bit faster. So I can't do that today, but that's okay because I'm just doing one sheet. I've got the set of sleeves that I'm going to put the cards in. And then, of course, you got the two options, either a scissors to cut with or a knife and then straight edge, or I've got this metal ruler here that I'm going to use. So these would be the supplies that you would need in order to get this done. Of course, you would need to have either the cards already or you'd need a printer to print them out. And then finally, this little finishing touch. This is a Kadumaro Pro corner rounder. This is the one that pretty much any of your YouTubers that do homemade TCGs or print proxies are going to use this one. It's not the perfect size for a rounded corner, but this small one, you see S, M, and L on each of these. Those are the small, medium, and large corners. So the smallest one is a little bit too big, but that's the best one that we've got on the market right now. So until something better comes along, that's what we'll use. So one of the nice things about that program that I found, and I apologize that I don't remember exactly what it's called, is it gives you automatically these cut lines, so that way you don't have to guess where the two different cards need to be separated. It's kind of hard to tell because all these yellow edges on all these cards are the same. So in the Google Doc it was harder to see, but now that we've got these lined up, we will have an easier time with it. And this blade is not as sharp as it used to be, but we'll do the best with what we've got. So we're going to line up the two black marks with our straight edge, just like that. Get rid of this excess paper. And now this is where I would use this cutter tool. So I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but the excess white space is not straight compared to the cards. So if you would use one of these things that makes it line up with the edge of the paper and cut a straight line, you'll end up with a chunk of white over here, and then it gets smaller, or there isn't one over here. So by going around all four sides, going freehand with the straight edge and the knife, you can ensure that those cuts will actually go straight in the directions that you want them to. So now I'm going to do this on all four sides. trainers, this is why you need a sharp blade when you're cutting these cards, because otherwise you end up with a mess like this. So I haven't sharpened this for a long time, and the reason is I just always forget about it. There's a simple extend this out, and then you take a hammer and you slam it down on the edge here, and it simply breaks off and makes a new section of the knife. So I'll do that at some point, and then we'll make better versions of these cards. But here we've got a Nathaniel's Charizard. The camera's kind of out of focus. The card looks a lot better than it does in the picture right now. You can read everything, and the image actually looks pretty good. But now we'll go ahead and put these in sleeves. So as you can see, I went 0 for 3 by destroying each of the corners on at least one of the corners of these, which is, again, the importance of having a sharp blade when you start. If you do have a sharp blade, you need to make sure that you have a specific cutting surface. So this is a Fisker's mat that's used for crafting. This would protect any surface that you might be working on. Like this desk isn't really a desk, it's actually a countertop that's put on 2 cabinets. But this is my desk space, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm not going to round the corners on these just because the corners are already shredded anyway. But all you would do is you would take the card, not in the sleeve obviously, because you don't want to cut the sleeve, but you would just stick it into this corner that's got the S for small, punch it down, you'll hear a little click, and then when it comes out it will have a rounded corner. Why don't I just do that on one of the corners so you can see it. So put it in like so, and you punch it down, and then I don't know if you can really see it that well, that corner is rounded versus this one that is still pointed from cutting it in a straight line. And the nice thing about putting them in sleeves is if you have them in your hand, your opponent can't tell which one is which, even though they're all shredded up. And when they're in your deck, you can't see either. You can't tell until you flip it over and take a peek. Oh, that's the one that's got the damage in the bottom right corner. So for playtesting purposes, I will not clip the corners just because that's a pretty long and extensive process. But when I have got the final card and it's exactly the way that I want it, I will make sure that the edge of the knife or the rotary cutter is sharp, so that way those straight lines are nice and crisp, and then I will clip the corners like I did with this one here. So I think that was all I wanted to show you guys today, showcase the printed out cards. Oh, I did want to mention that the printer that I use is an EcoTank 4800, which is not the highest scale version of the EcoTank. There is an 8550, I believe, is the printer quality or the photo quality version that they sell. The 4800 is more of a budget model, but it works very well for what I'm trying to use it for. Even some of the small text on this Nathaniel's Coaching Energy card is perfectly readable if you select high quality print in your print setup. If you have a different printer, you will obviously need to choose different settings because the different brand names and companies use different printer settings and have different names for things. But because this is just a regular paper, but it is cardstock paper, there's no extra settings to mess around with. It's just that high quality image selection, and then everything looks clear and crisp, and you can read everything, which is super nice for playing in person. So now I think that's everything that I wanted to share for today. So until next time, we'll see you.